So I'm going to start with a clean one here. So just close it out. Don't save what you have. And then just open it up again. You'll have a clean slate here. So we're going to use ZSpheres. You should have an idea of what you want to make. I'm just going to make a generic human, because that way, you can adjust it to whatever it is you want to make, whether it be a generic human or a creature or what have you. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to choose ZSphere. Okay, last time we just made a sphere. It's going to be a little bit different. So you choose ZSphere. And what this allows us to do is make an armature. Okay, so I'm going to click and drag it onto the canvas. All right, then I'll hit Edit. And then I'm going to hit Perspective, Floor, and then mine's already flat here. Sorry about that. There we go. And then mine's already flat, but if yours is not, make sure it's straight, and then go ahead and turn it onto this Y. Okay. And then you can see blue right there. That's the front. So the other thing I need to do is this. I'm making a character, so generally characters are symmetrical, and you should make yours as well. So to do that, you can go to Transform, and then you go Activate Symmetry, and then X, I think, will turn on by default. See? Or if you just hit X, that will also turn on Symmetry. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to call this one, this sphere is going to represent the belly of our character. So what I'm going to do is underneath, I'm going to draw the hips. Now notice that if I go over here, it'll make two of them. Make sure you're on draw still. If I go in the center, you'll see it'll snap, click, and drag. Okay, and that looks okay. And then I'm going to go to the top, and I'm going to do the same thing. Boom, click, and drag, like so. All right, so now I have a pill shape. What I want you to do is I'm going to hit W for the move, and I'm just going to kind of go like this, and I'm going to kind of go like this, and I'm picturing this being the chest, and this being the hips, and this being the belly. So the chest should be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to click and kind of drag it, pull it back a little bit. Okay, imagine this kind of being the arch of the back. And now I want it to be bigger too. So I'm going to hit E for scale, and I'll just click and drag to make it a little bit bigger. And then W for move. Good. Until I have something that looks like that. Okay, so that looks okay. Now, I can preview this at any time by hitting A, which is basically a type of, is it adaptive skin? Yeah, adaptive skin. Okay. And if I hit A, you're going to see you have something that looks like this. And this is what it's going to make. This is just a preview. Eventually, we'll tell it to actually do it. And then I'll just tap A again, and it'll go away. But you might want to check this every now and then, and also be saving. Because what happens, and I don't know exactly what causes it, but sometimes when you hit A, ZBrush will just crash. And it's because you made something incorrectly. Okay, so we have a head and belly and chest. Next what I'm going to do is a neck. So I'm going to go back to Draw, which is Q, or you click right here. And we'll go up to here, and go neck. I'm going to click and drag roughly to the thickness of the neck. Now, that's too far out. I want to W and move this in. But see how it turns into this? That's no bueno. So we're going to go to roughly till it, right after it does it. So I want it right there. Okay. Then I'm going to hit Q again and draw another one. If I hold Shift as I do it, you'll see it'll actually snap to the size of the previous one. You may or may not want to do that. I'm also going to take my brush and make it just super small. Oops, W, sorry. And I'm just going to pull this up to roughly the size of the neck. So we'll say something like that. And I'm just going to W, pull that back a little bit. Okay, that looks a little too small, so I'm going to scale this a little bit bigger. And then move that, oops, move that, come on. Move that guy in, if it will let me. All right, let's get you out of the way so I can move this one. Come on, move. Why are you no move? On that. E, that was working, right? Yeah. W. There we go. I think I just had the bone selected. Okay. And then move that down, and we'll call that good. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a head. So I'm going to hit Q for draw again. Make sure I'm in the center. And draw a big old noggin. And let's see, is that the right size? No, it needs to be a little bit bigger. I'm at E for scale, make it a little bit bigger. W, move it up. And we're going to go like that. We're going to call that good for now for a head. Okay, it's going to need a lot more work. And if I hit A, you can kind of see this is what I got going on. Right? Yay. All right. Let's go ahead and do a leg now. So the leg's going to be kind of like the neck. So back to draw, where I'm going to draw one like this, make it roughly the size I want, and I'll W and push it in like so. And let's see. Oh, that was too far. Okay. And then I'll hit Q for draw again and draw another one. And I'm just going to W for move, and we'll move it down. Holding shift as I go like this. I'm actually going to turn perspective off so I can see it in orthographic. I'm just going to pull it all the way down to where I think the leg, like the ankle would be. E to scale it down. Say like that. Okay, and then W for the move and pull it a little bit like that. And that looks sort of acceptable, I guess. Maybe down a little bit more. Okay. And now he needs a knee, so I'm going to hit Q for the draw. And you can actually draw them in between. So I'm going to click right roughly where I think the knee is, and we'll say right about here. Then I'll hit W and push this out a little bit, give him just a little bit of a bend. And W, move it out a little bit. It's going to be a little bit bow-legged. There we go. Okay. So that looks okay. Now what I'm going to do is draw the foot. So I'll hit Q for the draw tool. And I'm just going to draw like that. W for the move. Pull it this way. Alright, and we're going to try and get it roughly this. Let's see what size. That's kind of big. Alright, so like here. Alright, and I'm going to scale that in a little bit. Usually feet kind of narrow. There we go. With E. Alright, then I'll put one in between. And we're going to go Q and W. And I'm just going to kind of have this go down. Like so. So there's a little bit of a, and the E, I'm just going to scale this a little bit bigger. Good. And then if I hit A, you're going to see it kind of looks like a sock. So I'm just going to put one over here because I find that that makes it look a little bit better. So I'm just going to go like that, and then W, push this into right there. And it just gives it a little bit more of a foot. Okay, so I'm just hitting A to preview. That looks acceptable. Let's see it in perspective. And that looks okay. Okay, so A, that's good. All right, you might want to save it at this point. I'm going to go ahead and save mine. Control S, and we'll just save the desktop, and I'm just going to call it, ZSphere guy. Okay. Yay, fantastic. Okay. Sometimes it'll disappear like that. Don't worry about it. It's still working. Okay, let's go back to draw. So let's hit Q, and I'm going to draw a shoulder. Okay, W, and move that in a little bit, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead Q and draw another one. Oops, and I accidentally drew two. So I'm going to undo, Control Z, and I'm just going to take this. I'm going to put perspective back off, and I'm going to move this down to roughly where I think the, and we're going to do A pose, so we're going to put it out here a little bit. We'll say like that, and I'm going to scale it in for the wrist, and that looks kind of okay. Let's move it up a little bit. Alright, try to get the proportions and things the way you want them now. It'll be easier to do it here than trying to do it after you sculpt it. And we're going to do the same thing we did with the knees. I'm going to put one in here. Hit Q, then W for the move. I'm just going to push this out a little bit so it looks a little bit more like an elbow. And that looks acceptable. Okay. So now what we're going to do is make the hand. And the hand sort of sucks. So just have fun with that. Okay, so Q for draw. I'm going to draw the palm of my hand, we're going to call it. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than my wrist. And let's just move it out a little bit. Move it down this way a little. Okay. So this part sucks. So we're going to do a draw, and I'm going to make a thumb. So I'm picturing his hand, the thumb being here, and then the fingers being here. So I'm going to do the thumb like right here. And kind of Q to draw. Alright. And then W for the move, and move it in. Move it in. Oh, that's too far. Okay, good. Call that good. So we're just going to do the base of them all first. And then I'm going to picture a finger being here. And I'm just going to go ahead and move that in. Okay. I can hear my dog getting into something. Okay, now we're going to, if I stop randomly, that's what I'm doing. Kicking her. That's what I'm doing. puncher. All right, so anyway, let's see. Let's move this way a little bit. View a little bit. I feel like those might be a little bit small, but we'll see. Okay. Let's make that one a little bit bigger. Okay, let's draw another one. Like that. Okay. And move this a little bit over here and down. That looks okay. That's acceptable. And then we need to do a pinky. And you can see how this is it's just hard to get them all to fit is the problem. And not a terrible way. Alright. Right now it looks like it's got an elephant hand. Okay. Let's move this over, and this one over, and this one over. Okay, we're going to call... It's not going to be perfect. And you can see mine most definitely is not. So back to draw, and I am just going to draw basically a thumb. Now make sure that your brush is not super big. Because if it's this big, let's say it's like this, see how it's also touching this? It's going to move both that one and this one because it's so big. That's why just take your brush and make it all the way small. Yeah, all the way small. That way, there's no way it's touching this one too. I'm just going to take this and pull this down. And let's go this way a little bit. And this way. Say something like that. Okay. And then we're going to W, pull this guy down. Alright, something like that. Okay. Call that good. Q, draw this one. W, pull it down. Maybe just draw them all first and then we'll figure it out after. Alright, and Q, W, and pull you down. Okay. So we should have something that looks like this. I'm just using the move a little bit. And I'm just trying to get them to look not absolutely terrible. So, alright. So roughly like that. And then I'm just going to put one knuckle in each one of these. So Q, 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 Q. Okay. And then use the move tool. And I'm just going to move this one out a little. Now, obviously, there's two knuckles. There's one here, too. And if you want to put one there, you can. I just don't find that it really is going to benefit me all that much at the moment. So I usually just do the one and call it good. Oops. There we go. Just moving these out. Like so. Okay, so you get something that looks sort of like that. Alright, and if I hit A... Okay, yay, it didn't crash. That's particularly when it might crash is right there. So you would want to save it and then see. It's not great, but it will do. That looks acceptable. So again, now what's a good idea is like save it, try to position it, make sure this is perfect because it's going to be a lot easier to move these than it is going to be to try and sculpt later. So I'm going to save this just over top of the other one. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is actually make the adaptive skin. So I'm just going to call this good because I don't really care that much. So we're going to hit A, and then you're going to do Make Poly Mesh 3D. And then you're going to see now you have this version of this guy, and now you can sculpt him and what have you, okay? And I just want to check something real quick. Shift F. Okay, let's undo that, because I don't like the Poly Mesh 3D that it made. Come on. I'll see, it's not letting me undo it. This is why we save it. So I'm going to open up that other one. So File, Open. No, I don't want to save it because you ruined it. Okay. So I'm going to go down to Adaptive Skin. And let's see if we hit A. If I Shift F. Okay. So I'm at A, Shift F so I can see what it's previewing. And then you can see Dynamesh. It's got whatever. Let's see if I go to 0. What's that going to do for me? Okay, let's hit A and then A back again. There we go. I'll bring Dynamesh all the way down. And that way it doesn't Dynamesh it. It's also got the density at 2. I think density at 2 is fine. Basically, if I bring this down, you're going to see this is going to be a lot more blocky. See? And then there's 2. And then there's 3. It'll make it smoother and smoother. You can kind of choose what you want to do. I think 2 is probably good enough. Okay. Now, I'm going to Shift F again, which is the same as clicking on this. And then I'm going to hit Make Poly Mesh 3D. Okay. That's better, right? So let me see. Shift F. Good. Now, Oddly enough, this is still on. Usually the symmetry is not working. Oops. Is not working at this point. Let me just make this bigger. Is it working? Oh, it is. Okay. If it's not, just make sure that it's drawing on both sides. So you just tap X, right, to do symmetry on both sides. So now I'm going to save this again, Control S, and this time I'm going to call it Meshed Guy. You can call yours something else, Meshed Guy. Boom. All right, and recall this good. Now he is Shift F. Now he is ready to be list sculpt. Okay, and we'll kind of go from there and work our way up. All right, and we will do that in the next video. We're just kind of sculpt out a general body.